Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Baldur's Gate Completionist playthrough with SCS. And now it is time to explore more of this village and talk to some of the locals. Now that they are going to basically know that we've agreed to help them against the beasts, so now they're going to be a little bit more open to us. And here's Marilee.
You are a
Stranger. With our first quest. So she's going to need help in finding and retrieving her baby that was apparently kidnapped. And there's some pretty mean responses here, like, stop your sniveling wench. But anyway, we're going to help her, of course. But one thing I have to say is that she refers to that child as a baby, and indeed, as you will see later, it is a toddler. It's an infant, wrapped in blankets and such. Like, who the hell takes a child like that out for hunting? It should have stayed with the mother at home, don't you think? While the husband was out hunting. So apparently the beasts killed her husband and took her baby. And she knows that, or senses, I guess, that the baby is still alive. So of course we're going to help her. And first let's go down here. To a certain little shack. Let's just teleport our guys there. Because there's going to be an interesting fellow here in this kind of outlying shack. Because this guy is, or used to be, an outsider as well. So we're going to have a little bond with him, I guess. Feel a little closer to him, and he's going to give us one piece of advice or a warning. So anyway, he notices that we're not sailors. A sea dog like myself would know. I am Talun, once a sailor of Amn, and now a proud member of this clan. So there is a story to this. He was en route to Mastica, sailing there, but apparently a kraken destroyed his ship, but he managed to survive and drift to this island. And I gained membership to the clan by showing the villagers new techniques for fishing and farming. The clan has been here since Balduran's time, you understand. They be sorely in need of the little bit of modern technology that I be having. So yeah, he knows a little bit about Balduran's final voyage, and that it involved lycanthropes, as we could, you know, pretty much deduce from what we've learned so far. And apparently the combatants, the crew, kind of split off into two factions. And now, this is the most interesting thing about him, what he says now. I can say no more this time, but I will offer you the advice that I never got. Watch yourself. Nothing on this island be as it seems. Not these people, not the monsters, and not myself. Do what you must quickly. You don't have much time. So that sounded pretty spooky.
certainly.
And he is right. Nothing is as it seems at a glance here. So with that in mind, let's talk with more of the locals, I guess. So we could already see that this peculiar village and its inhabitants are a little weird in a couple of ways, but we don't know anything for sure. And so here's Evolt, and he has another quest for us. Apparently no one believes him of this, because he mentions a witch that his brother called the Blue Lady. And apparently his brother didn't return for some time now, and he suspects that the witch might have killed him or keeps him under her spell. And our task is to find him and bring him home, I guess. And so he said that he only heard her singing on the west side of the island, and that is where we're going to look for her. Here's a little girl farthing. And if we basically say that we're vegetarian and we go with this dialogue route, you're not going to be able to talk with her and not really receive her quest. It doesn't really matter, because when you retrieve what she wants, she's going to accept that and you're going to get the quest reward anyway, but it's kind of funny. Anyway, we can say that, yeah, we can hunt. You're lucky, I don't like you. But if we talk to her again, she gives us the quest to find her dolly out in the woods. The gatekeeper won't let me go and get it. Can you get it for me? Yeah, I will. You can play with Dolly on the way back if you want. Thanks, I will.
Yes?
Anyway, here's Joran.
Indeed.
Move along.
So his attitude is something that we do not like already. And anyway, he's basically, he's kind of like the warrior leader, I guess, of this village, and he has the most experience when fighting with the beasts, I guess. So that's why he doesn't believe that we will be successful in our mission. And if we ask him about their strengths and weaknesses, he tells us about the two types of the different werewolves. But basically the important piece of advice is that their leader is Karug. The beasts, the older ones, seem to be pretty cunning and powerful, and that they cannot be injured with normal weapons. Yeah, you have to have magical weapons to be able to damage them. Yeah, and from the NPC project, Jaheira, of course, confirms that those are werewolves or wolfweres. And now we just have a couple more people to talk to. Like, this big building here is going to be relevant later. There's nothing for us to find there just yet. Here's Durlyle, and if you play a male protagonist, there's going to be a female here called Delaney. And with them you can have a very friendly, kind of bordering on romantic conversation. And while I don't normally engage in that kind of thing, I will here be friendly to him, because that kind of involves an additional quest and some information, and he's going to help us later. He cares about history. He refers to himself as a historian, and we can get to know him a little bit. And he has a quest for us to retrieve a symbol of theirs, a cloak that they pretty much use as a flag, I guess. And yeah, it was cast to the wind and fell outside of the village somewhere, and since they are not allowed to leave, you know, that he has no way of retrieving that kind of symbol. Yeah, he's going to explain the symbolic value of it here. Alright.
You're concerned? Yes.
Here Lal is going to mention that the wolf monstrosities killed his wife. Will you send a few of them to the hells for me? Yeah, sure. Sure, dude. Yeah, this conversation isn't that well written. It's kind of like repeating the same thing a couple of times. Yeah, and the gatekeeper is going to wish us luck on our mission. And finally we can proceed to the next area north of here. And while I'm here, I am also going to pick up these belladonna flowers from here that are going to be relevant later. You can get them on the way back, but let's just already keep them here, so we already have them prepared. Okay, now we're in the northern part of the island, the dangerous part, I guess, and I will apply some of the longer lasting buffs. We're going to buff up the armor class of Kiranai with this potion of defense. We're going to give Yeslik this potion of strength, and Senashira is going to drink one of these potions of invulnerability. Alright, so now our armor class should be pretty cool.
It is done.
Pretty good. And there's going to be a couple of encounters with some people here, like
Yes,
Palin.
Hello.
Yeah, apparently he wants to direct us to some people that are being attacked by monsters. So let's go with him.
Hello.
And something's fishy. I see no battle. State your purpose. This is battle. Brothers, join the slaughter.
This way.
Oh yeah, we need to change the arrows of our guys, so that we only use magically enchanted arrows. Or actually, Koran can use some of these fire arrows. They're going to work as well. So yeah, we are in an ambush by the Wolfweres. So this is supposed to be, you know, like they said, they are supposed to be pretty cunning, I guess. They're likely to want to ambush us and whatnot. And they have also 50% magic resistance, and they have some regeneration. The regeneration is going to matter mostly later, when it comes to some of their more powerful types. And here's Farthing's dolly, and as the description says, you are allowed to play with it if you wish.
Yes.
Anyway, Alright, here's another one.
My blade will cut you down to size.
As you can see, sometimes you will get the message of them having magic resistance. It's basically, yeah, that's why I think we should switch to the arrows +1. It's basically why the elemental damage of our arrows of fire doesn't work sometimes. Is that they have 50% magic resistance, so spells are going to be of limited effectiveness against them. There's going to be another encounter with a dude that is going to be a little bit more chatty.
You need something, stranger.
Than this guy.
Yes, it is done.
Maim. New actors in our little drama. Who might you be? Shipwrecked sailors, perhaps? Feeling somewhat cryptic today, are you? You are certainly braver than the cattle inside the village. You leave the safety of the palisade with a confident stride and a dangerous look about you. Those fools within are frightened of their own shadows. Yeah, he wants to know what Kaisha's asked of us. It is not of your concern, or none of your concern. Leave us be or face our wrath. And so, of course, he has some more threats. He has nothing. Yeah. Anyway, on this western side of the island, there's going to be an encounter with that supposed witch. And basically, she is a siren queen. And there are two outcomes there. You can have a peaceful resolution through conversation by talking to her, or you can fight the sirens, which gives you a lot more experience. But I think I'm going to go with that option just so we have a little bit more action. It's a little bit more interesting, and as you can see, both options are, I think, equally viable from the information that we're given at this point. So I think I'm going to use this potion of clarity. That we should have a couple of them now. Yeah, 4 of them. I am going to use one of them, and I'm going to basically employ the tactics that I used when we cleansed the coast when we were back home, to just... Senashira is going to, with those tactics, be able to solo the sirens.
Fools to cross my path.
Alright, so here's the queen. And we can be... let's be a little bit more combat ready here. You are not of his kind. Why do you care about this beast? So this is already another hint that these people are not what they seem to be. Like, how come we are not one of his kind? We are human also, right? But anyway. Yeah, he appears to be dead. There is supposed to be a corpse of his lying there. Yeah, so she explains that she's a siren, and as such must mate with a human male. My song lures them to me, and the males are most happy to oblige. Normally both parties will benefit from the exchange. It is my time to mate, so I lured this fisherman to me. He attacked me and tried to force himself upon me. When my song no longer affected him, I took more drastic measures. This monster deserved to die. So, of course, her attitude we don't like, and the fact that personal freedoms are of utmost importance for us, and we don't appreciate this mind control charm business that she employs to just mate. I think we're going to say that you lured that man to you by magic. Obviously your magic failed, and he fought to be free of your spells. I shall avenge his death, temptress. Of course, this dialogue option will resolve the whole thing in peace. You're going to get the body and can retrieve it to, or bring it back to Evolt. How are we going to fight her? She starts out invisible, but she's not going to be able to do anything to us. And I backed out with my party because there are some of her accomplices that spawn. Yeah, even if we didn't save, of course we are immune to her charms. That's pretty good armor class, I guess. But she's not going to be able to prevail. Yeah, there are some other sirens approaching that basically spawned on in a little distance from her. We're probably gonna need some critical hits to deal with her, I guess. Alright, now we're talking. Now she's injured. Actually, she might be out of charm spells, so we might approach with the rest of our party and employ some spells. Okay, there's another one. That's not good. But before she does anything, we should be able to deal with her. Okay, now she should be more vulnerable.
What you want?
Let's speed up the process a little bit. Yeah, she's near death now. I think we can approach with the others.
Yep, I'm gone.
She has quite some magic resistance. I don't remember the exact value. But even if something has like 50% magic resistance, for example, you know, magic missiles produce many projectiles, so at least some are going to hit and deal a bit of damage. So yeah, we got 6,000 experience for her, and of course 2,000 for her other sirens. I'm going to finish off here with Senashira alone, because these ones have a fresh set of charm spells available to them. Yeah, and our party is going to move east through here, and Senashira is going to pick up the goodies and explore a little bit more of that northern part. So yeah, we get a lot of arrows of biting also from her, which is another reason to kill her here.
This would be if a tree falls as you direct. Your concern?
And Senashira might explore a little bit more of this northern part, and we're going to rendezvous and close to this point.
Indeed.
And I guess Senashira is going to bring some wolves with her
You've attacked
to the rest of the party.
Certainly.
This thing is actually a dead end. We have to go through this little forest.
As you direct. I indeed.
I'm keeping to this kind of western side because there's going to be another encounter that I don't want to trigger yet, and it's near. This one here. Lady comes up. Kurilla. Please help me. They kill poor Jondal. Who killed him? The Wolfman. Right, so apparently she wants vengeance. Please kill them. I am so frightened.
I am indeed. You've as good as done. It is done.
Salutations.
Jondal, I have brought you a feast. So another one of their ambush tactics.
I am here.
But this feast is actually not such an easy prey. This feast fights back. It's like you bite the feast, the feast bites back. And now they're dead. There's nothing to be gained here. She doesn't have anything. Anyway, of course I forgot to showcase this. Arrows of biting. You can identify them. We have Evan's body now. That's Siren Queen. And here we're going to be able to discover the shipwreck of Balduran's ship. And there's an entrance here, which we are going to use soon. But first let's investigate this shack here. You're not figments, are you?
It is
You're
done.
not figments, are you? I'm not wasting any more time talking to figments.
So here's Dredil, someone that we've already heard mentioned once when hearing about the tale of Balduran Apparently Dredil was supposed to be his guide. So can it be, after so long, by Selune's blade, I am saved? Yeah, I need to get off this cursed island. Right, so he says that he's a Dredil, mage and recent convert to the Church of Selune. I was the guide for Balduran's brave adventures to Ankarom and beyond. That was long ago. I have lived here for countless years, alone except for the occasional skirmishes with the diseased ones. They haven't attacked for some time. They fear me, it seems, but the younger ones refuse to learn the lessons of their fathers. Periodically, I believe it to be every generation or so, they will attack and learn the lessons that those who came before have already learned. I no longer have a taste for battle, but they are abominations not fit for this world. I suspect that they can even be cured of the condition. I write my theories in the diary that I keep. It seems to help me remain balanced amongst this horror. So he's an elf, that's why he was able to, live here for a couple of centuries. And so we can ask him a little bit more about Balduran's last voyage. Yeah, we sailed to far Ankarom, 200 strong. We returned with half of our brethren dead on the Golden Land's shores. But Balduran was ever the successful adventurer. He wrested a king's ransom and treasure from the cursed lord of Ankarom before we were forced back to the ship and expelled from their shores. The cursed lord's power haunts me still. Those monstrosities out there are the product of our travails in Ankarom. 'Twas a bitter wind that carried us homeward, and we revelled not in our newfound wealth. We came upon this island quite by accident and stopped to renew our dwindling supply of fresh water. I led the landing party, while Balduran set the remaining crew to repairing the sails and fishing for fresh food. My party was hardly out of earshot of the ship when the curse struck. The blood still stains my robes. And you can interrupt him a little bit, saying that his robes are clean, but no, I can feel it. It covers me. Anyway, you were saying? And he says that, the infected with lycanthropy people changed and they began the slaughter. And he survived barely and used his invisibility spell to escape and basically find this hut. Of course, as always, feel free to pause and read for yourself his story. And he was able to ward this home with his final spell and survive here. In these 300 years, I have found some favor with Selune. She has granted me a few spells and wards to better protect my precarious home. I haven't left these caves for many years, as I haven't the power to defend myself for long. So we can help him, because he wants his spellbook. Yeah, the lycanthrope's lair is in Balduran's ship. My spellbook lies within. With it, I am a powerful mage. Without it, I am the pauper that stands before you. Those few wards I cast are gifts of pity from Selune. I have turned to the goddess in my fear and solitude. Alright, anyway. So his quest, of course, is to retrieve his spellbook for him. And he also offers this place as a safe place to rest for us, because it is warded against the lycanthropes, so we can just rest here anytime. By the way, of course, Jahira leveled up. We're going to check that out in a second. We're also going to check out the containers in his home.
I would plug it had I the power.
So here we have the recipes and ruminations of one Dredil of Tethir. And there's a couple of different recipes here. You can pause and read them if you wish. The developers of Baldur's Gate games seem to have a particular fondness for different types of recipes. Pretty funny ones sometimes, basically jokes in the form of recipes, and you will see way more of that in Baldur's Gate 2. But this is where it kind of began, I guess. Anyway, from these notes you can get to know a little bit more about the Wolfweres. Yeah, there's an odd curse, one that defies the traditional remedies, such as the unfortunately dangerous muffins previous, though one is not without hope. The exotic origin of the original stock suggests a unique enchantment not unlike that of the more widely known vampiric afflictions. The casual bite might be averted using such things as the belladonna flower, but an intentional infection could actually require the extermination of the leader of the clan, and that is a relevant piece of information that is going to be useful for us a little bit later. Yeah, but those are only suspicions of his. He apparently has an immunity to the curse. This is pretty funny. Noodles of quality and convenience, the bachelor's crutch. Ingredients, a measure of noodles, boiling water, container. Combine ingredients in container. Enjoy. Yeah, he also offered us this this necklace, which is pretty nice. We could use it on someone with a lot of attacks, such as Kirinai, I guess. She already, of course, is very devastating. She doesn't really need a Thaco boost, but this this amulet would be a little bit wasted on someone with less attacks. Or, actually, not her, but we could use it on Koran, because the damage increases for arrow shots are pretty rare, and so this is going to be pretty good for him. Anyway, once we explore this, he also has the belladonna flowers. Here is the holy cloak, the symbolic kind of artifact that Durlyle wanted us to retrieve, and this one is a pretty cool weapon. It's a staff mace +2 that uses the proficiency type of quarterstaves, but is one-handed. So Jaheira, for example, could use it together with a shield. Of course, she has a better weapon, but you know, this is an interesting one. Anyway, let's first finally level up Jaheira. She was able to level up in Druid, so now she's level 8 in Druid, gets more level 3 and level 4 spells. I think I'm going to just have another one, Invisibility Purge, for some of the future encounters. And here we might maybe have Neutralize Poison. Like I said, it's kind of nice to have one memorized, but I think this is all kind of irrelevant, because once Yeslik gets access to level 4 spells, I think we're going to swap Jaheira's ring over to Yeslik, so she's going to lose that memorization slot here, and this one. Alright, so I think we're just going to quickly heal up a little bit. We're not going to rest,
I am here.
but we're going to press on.
Yes, oh omnipresent authority figure. It is done. Indeed.
Okay, now is the time to finally venture inside of that shipwreck where the lair of those evil beasties is, and check it out.
Yes.
I think Senashira's potion of invulnerability ran out, so I am going to use another one, because it is imperative that she is protected well.
You're a queer fellow.
Also, Imoen is going to have some mirror images. I think you don't get an autosave here, so I think we might just enter with a few of them. And a little cinematic. For some reason the enhanced edition didn't remove this one, but actually they had time to make their own version here of this cinematic here. Anyway, there's quite a few wolves, primarily vampiric wolves, and here there's one Wolfwere. We're going to deal with this vampiric wolf first, but I think we're also going to deal with some of these wolves in melee here, so that Kirinai doesn't get owned. Now these vampiric wolves are avoiding our approach. It's a little crowdy here. Anyway, I just want to make sure that I'm kind of focus firing my attacks here. With the two groups, Yeslik and Kirinai being one group, and Senashira and Jaheira being a different one. But now let's finally kill this vampiric wolf so he doesn't paralyze anyone. Alright, and now we can really focus our attacks here. Alright, the other guys can now enter.
It is done.
Wherever fate takes me.
Your indeed.
And then there's a little container here that has some really nice potions. I should give those items to, I guess, Jaheira, so that Senashira has a little bit more space to pick up these things. And there's a Wand of Frost, which I think
Yes?
we might leave because... No, ours only has 4 charges here, so we might actually hold on to this one. There's a potion of 24 strength, of Storm Giant strength, and 10 more darts of wounding.
Certainly.
And in this one, we're not going to pick up any of these darts +1 or that wand of
I am here.
magic missiles. We're going to just take these 4 people upstairs. There's going to be a few levels of those, where we're basically like surrounded by a group of wolfweres. So squishy party members like Koran and Imoen are just not going to be of much use here, and they're surely going to take some damage. So I'm just going to always pretty much leave them on the previous floor. And just enter with my tougher guys. Apparently Senashiro is able to level up. And that's going to be her last level up in Baldur's Gate 1.
It is done.
What is your luck? Be a lady.
There's quite a few nice containers here with some good stuff. I think this barrel is trapped. This one is locked. I think that one might be trapped. Yeah, Oil of Speed, a Wand of Lightning, which is pretty nice. These ones are cursed gauntlets that give you -5 Thaco and -5 damage. Kira Banter didn't trigger properly, apparently.
Great peril yields great beauty.
Your concern?
I think I mentioned that bug before. Oh, Kiranai of course has space, so she can carry some heavier stuff
Yes?
and heal herself in the meantime. And here we have a very, very, very notable dagger, and we're going to identify that with a scroll. This is Werebane, a dagger that is +4 versus lycanthropes. And basically this is, I think, a good opportunity to explain one thing, that when it comes to their leader Karug, and some of the most powerful like leader types of the Wolfweres, there are basically, aside from the Wolfweres that we've already met, there are also greater Wolfweres, and kind of like a leader type of Wolfwere called the Lugaru. And basically the greater Wolfweres require the so-called silver weapons or cold iron weapons, and the Lugaru needs the cold iron weapons. And this is kind of like a little fanciful term outside of the game, because I think these terms aren't really mentioned in game. But anyway, the important thing is that a lot of people get kind of stuck on Karug without having the option, or without being able to defeat him, because he has insane health regeneration, and he is actually able to be damaged with very, very few weapons. In fact, there are only 4 weapons in classic Baldur's Gate 1 and 5, or I think not even that one. Basically what I want here to say is that there are 4 weapons in classic Baldur's Gate 1 that are even able to damage Karug, their leader here, and Werebane is one of them. Then a certain sword of Balduran, a bastard sword of Balduran that we're going to find very, very soon, is another one. Then a flame sword called Flame Tongue from Durlag's Tower is the third one, and the 4th weapon that is able to do that is actually this one here, Kondar, +3 versus Shapeshifter, that we got from Aldeth way back. And also I wanted to say that Albruin here, I think, is supposed to be a silver weapon, so it can also damage some of them. I think it can damage the greater Wolfweres, but it cannot damage Lugaru. So you will see all of that in a second. This dagger, of course, is perfect for Kiranai, for that last encounter. And I think we're going to explore one more level of this ship before we are at the final top level, where the final fight is going to be. And I think we're going to start out with that final fight in the next episode. Here we're just going to clear out some of these guys,
What?
because we are already a little bit over time. And we're going to explore this level. There are some more goodies to be found here. Yeah, also another thing about why we want to focus our attacks, it's, you know, that's a general good gameplay practice, I guess, a good habit to have, so that you can actually kill some people instead of having, you know, the whole party, the whole group of your opponents being like badly damaged, instead of some of them being dead. Anyway, but also it matters in the case of wolfweres a lot, especially greater wolfweres, and that matters in our situation here, and it's going to matter in Baldur's Gate 2 as well, because they have very, very good regeneration, especially greater wolfweres. You really have to focus your attacks. These are bolts +2 and arrows +2. I'm just going to take the arrows, and more acid arrows and another very good strength potion. Oh, the container's full again. She cannot actually identify the arrows +2, so let's just give them to Koran here. And also I had these potions. Kiranai can hold on to them. She should be able to, yeah, identify these acid arrows. And I think that is all for now. Just triple check here, double check if I looted everything. Yeah. So on the next floor there's going to be the final fight in this ship, and I think we're going to do it and conclude our business, because there's quite a bit more to this island actually, quite a bit more to our adventures on this island. So I think we're going to continue all of that in the next episode, and for now, as always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.